Hi guys, welcome back to another The Time I Worked At. This is becoming like a, what's that called? Like a compilation series. Almost reminds me of Michael Jackson. Do you remember? Yeah. So anyways, I'm going to tell you about the time I worked at Sam's Club. I worked for Sam's Club for a total of a year and some change. And I really, really loved it, actually. It was really, really fun. It was my first time working at a huge department store. And the way that department stores work is pretty cool. Now, I don't know if all department stores work this way. I'm pretty sure they do because it makes sense. But the way that Sam's Club worked was each department had a department manager, and then we had a store manager. And so every morning we would have, a store meeting, a rally, and we would go ahead and listen to, what was important. They would do special notices, like special announcements for the day, birthdays, and just a general roar, before going off to our stations. I started off as a cashier, which, to be honest, was my first cashier job. It's really not that hard. However, Sam's Club did make it pretty hard for me to work as a cashier just because a lot of my job had to do with lifting up really heavy items, putting them on the conveyor belt, scanning them, putting them back on the cart for the member. And we also had to do something that was required of us, which was selling. So we had to sell the Plus membership. So Sam's Club's Plus membership is a $100 membership. It is for the entire year, and basically what it gives you is coupons. I can't remember if it gives you anything else, but the most that I can remember is coupons. So Sam's Club doesn't willingly give coupons out for free like BJ's. Little shameless plug. They actually want you to pay a membership for it, or an additional membership. And you can go ahead and get all different kinds of coupons. And they had told us that it would start to follow the members' history and start giving them coupons for things they used. Some people said it worked. Other people said it didn't. Till this day, I'll never know. But that was my main job. Sam's Club has 3 different memberships. They have a regular membership, and then actually, I'm sorry, there may be 2. I want to say there are 2. Anyways, 2 memberships. I don't know if it's changed. There is the business membership, which is usually, at least when I was working, was $35, and then your basic regular membership, which was $40. So the $40 to just be a regular member, it was $40. Businesses paid $35, and then the Plus membership would be plus $100, so $60 for regular. And so the most of my job was selling this Plus membership to people, lifting up, and it got very annoying having to constantly do this, and they really, really pushed you to, because they kept emphasizing that this is how Sam's Club makes their money, and that's why, they don't really make their items very expensive in store, and that's how they're able to keep their low prices, is because, so they pushed us a lot to make those Plus memberships, and it was very stressful because I'm not a seller. I am not a salesperson. I can sell easy things like coffee, and then, hey, are you hungry? Do you want a pastry? Like simple things I can do. Trying to convince a mother of 3 that's already have a huge cart in her, and she's already spent $158 that she needs to spend an additional $53 just for coupons. The coupons changed every month. And, it was a good incentive, but honestly, it just wasn't, it was hard for me. Like I said, I didn't like to sell, and I didn't like the idea of trying to make people spend money on something I really didn't think they needed. So we had a separate break room that all the employees could use. It was awesome. It was big. It had a vending machine, it had a microwave, had a sink. You could wash your dishes. It was cool. And it was something that was also locked, so to get into it, we had to press a certain code and then get into it. When to clock in, it was really cool. We had this little machine, like a little box, and then we would take our card, like with our name tag, sorry. So it was a name tag / card, and we would just go swoop and like swipe it, and it would say, it would say my name, Rebecca, you clocking in, going on lunch, and then I'd click, and so that was a really cool aspect. And then, so we had the really cool lunchroom, the really cool break room. The discounts that I received from working at Sam's Club was just a free membership. There was no additional discount on anything else. It was just the free membership. So I spent a lot of money. But just the free membership is all I can remember getting for working there. And then, of course, insurance and things like that. But if I remember correctly, I was only part-time, so I did not qualify for health insurance. And then, of course, if you didn't want anything from the vending machine, they had a cafe. So you could, go get food from the cafe if you didn't pack yourself lunch. For me, I started getting really thrifty and buying like those little healthy choice meals because they had like a pack of 6. I used to get the healthy choice meals, and I would literally just microwave my lunch, and that was it. So I really loved it, it was really fun. It was really big. There were so many things to do, and I loved walking around the entire store, knowing where everything was. We had a lot of different employees. And so somewhere in the middle of my journey, I had ended up getting an injury to my wrist from lifting and butting and lifting and butting. And I ended up having to get workers' comp. Workers' comp, and then workers' comp led to me going to therapy to get my wrist back in shape. And that actually was a really good portion of the rest of, I was probably like that for like 3 to 4 months, maybe even more, to be honest. I don't remember, but it was a really lengthy time that I was like that in transitioning. And they actually give me an option of, do you want to work or do you want to go home? Like just literally take off. And I wanted to work. So I decided I was going to work. And so with working, they just had to put me in different positions that I didn't have to use my hand. Well, to lift. So I was allowed to just kind of go around and try different things, different departments, and I really loved it. So I did some of the clothing department, so I literally just folded clothes and I helped customers, find something. I did gas station, which was literally just standing there, walking around, helping people pump gas. First time I ever learned how to pump gas, by the way. Didn't even have a car, but I learned how to pump gas, so that was exciting. I helped the front, so I helped the other cashiers by either assisting new people or just assisting and helping them take like breaks and things like that. I did greeting, so I did a greeter, so you stand there at the door, and I was the lady that was like, do you have your membership? Do you have your card? No? Okay, you need, where are you going? Are you going to get your card? I was also the lady who grabs your receipt and marks off your stuff and gives it back to you, tells you have a nice day. I was that person. I also did credit, so they gave me a little clipboard, and they would make me basically walk all over the entire store and try to get people to sign up for a credit. Hated that. Worst position ever that they ever gave me, because once again, back to I don't like selling, and getting someone to sign up for a credit card is literally like asking for their soul. Like, it's a very serious thing that people are just not willing to do. So I have to give them incentives, and I'm like, well, that TV is looking mighty nice, but woof, look at that price. But if you sign up for a Sam's Club membership, you get $50 off of that. Doesn't that sound amazing for a TV that costs like $500? And they're like, sure. Other times it wasn't, people already knew I was the credit lady, so they'd just be like, and I'd be like, oh, but you didn't listen. You didn't listen to what I have to offer. So that was very stressful. I did not enjoy doing the credit part. But other things, I did inventory. I was just all over the place. And one of the things that I ended up doing a lot of that I really, really loved was working at the member service desk, which is basically a fancy way of saying customer service. But, since their customers are members, member service. So I did member service, and part of member service was literally like refunds, exchange, signing people up, you name it, I did it. And I really loved it. I didn't think that I'd actually love working at a customer service desk. I mean, hello, who would, right? Karens all day. But it actually wasn't bad. I really loved it, and I was really good at it. And I sold more Plus memberships there than I did at the checkout, which makes sense. I mean, person spending $200, and on top of that, you're like, do you want coupons for $60 more? Like, of course, no one's gonna be like, versus when they're just literally coming in, you give it to them on a different platform, and you're like, listen, $100 the whole year, you get coupons every different month. Like, it just sounds more enticing when you've already not spent money. So, it was just super easy for me to do that. And then I also actually worked at their liquor store, which was also fun. I spent the entire time of my shift literally just like finding products for people on the phone and just cashing people out and asking for ID. Like, there was really nothing else I could do at a liquor store. I felt bad though too, because a lot of people would be like, so what's your favorite liquor? And I'm like, I don't drink. And they're like, and you work at a liquor store though? That's ironic. And I'm like, yeah, hysterical. So it was just things like that. But I really loved what I was doing, and I was having so much fun, even though, I'd hurt my arms. But then the loss prevention lady apparently did not like the fact that I had asked for workers' comp, and she found a way to give me a correction for it. And with this correction, I could not go to another department. So I was stuck as a cashier. Excuse me. I was stuck as a cashier for a whole year, another year, until this correction went away. Suffice to say, I was not happy about that. Because one, it was not my fault. I was doing what was asked of me. And two, I was like thinking about going to another department because I hated being a cashier. I just wasn't great at it, and I was really good at member service. So my eye was on member service. But when she did this to me, it just screwed me up completely. And I was like, another year as a cashier? Like, And I mean, they were pressing hard for you to do this Plus membership, like pressing. And like almost to the point where you had to worry about your job. And no one should ever have to worry about job security over freaking like selling, unless that's like the main majority of your job. Like, unless it says salesman on my chest, that should not be a reason that I should get fired. So I was very, very upset about it. And, once again, this was young Rebecca. So young Rebecca didn't know how to handle her emotions, and she didn't know how to like speak and say, I'm disappointed. So I spent literally, I think, the entire day after that crying. I was very upset. And then what was even more upsetting was that the manager of the member service desk loved me so much and was so impressed by me, that he asked me to work at his department. And I was like, when I tell you that I have literally till this day have never received a higher honor, I have never been graced with that again, I'm not lying. And it kind of makes me reflect a little hard on my life, but I'm not going to go to that dark corner. But it's been one of the highlights of my life, working, was just knowing that I impressed someone so much that they wanted me to work in their department. And I was just like, wow. And then immediately I was like, well, this bitch fucked over my chances. And so I was honest, which I wonder if I wouldn't have been honest had it changed the outcome. But anyways, I was honest. And I was like, oh my God, I would love to. Like, wow. Unfortunately, I have I forgot what we called it back then. A write-up, I guess. And I was just like, I have a write-up, and I can't go anywhere. And I like low-key said it because I was hoping he was going to be like, let me talk to them. But he was just like, oh, damn. And I was like, oh, you can't maybe, no? So I was just very upset because I didn't want to be a cashier, and I had an opportunity to go where I wanted to go, and I couldn't because that bitch didn't like that I was spending money for something that I didn't do. Like, literally, it is your job. You made it my job requirement to lift up items that are 50 pounds or more, with no sort of, brace or anything. I mean, it's a constant motion. You're likely to hurt your hands. And I wasn't the only person that was going through those issues. But somehow, I was the one that got it. But anyways, with everything that was going on, I wasn't thinking about leaving. But there was a Dunkin' Donuts. Q in Dunkin'. Q in, literally. That was my first time going to Dunkin'. Well, this was my first integration to Dunkin'. So, I had a friend who knew a friend. I had a friend who had a friend in Dunkin'. And she knew the situation at Sam's Club, and she was just like, do you want to go work at, there? I could probably get you in. And I was like, donuts or retail? I was like, I don't know. I've never worked fast food. This was after Wendy's. So my thought of fast food was, angry Asian. So I was like, I don't know. And she's like, just go to the interview. Just, go to the interview. And I was like, all right, I'll go. And funny enough, me and my brother interviewed for we went to the same Dunkin', and we interviewed for the same position, and she chose me. She had chose me, and I was just like, really? Me? And I was like, all right, why not? It was a fresh start, and I mean, I grew up eating Dunkin'. Whose chubby family didn't, I grew up eating Dunkin', and I was like, okay. And back then, for me, that was like a dream come true to work at a store I'd been like eating, you know what I mean? It was like deep in my childhood. So I was like, what? Dunkin'? Like, yeah, like super, super proud and excited. And I got the job, and I ended up going ahead and leaving. I did leave. I gave my 2 weeks, though. I did leave the right way. I gave my 2 weeks. And surprisingly, when I had my year, like when they sit down, they tell you whether or not you got a raise, I actually did get a raise too. So I was like, wow, you guys thought I was worth a raise, even though you like low-key screwed me over and gave me a correction. It was weird. But it was nice, and I was like, oh, wow, you gave me a raise. And I literally the same day gave him my 2 weeks. And so I was like, oh, sorry. And, but I mean, it was, it was cool. He was okay. He understood. And I ended up leaving, and cue Dunkin'. So that was my experience working at Sam's Club. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you currently work at Sam's Club, or you have worked at Sam's Club, I would love to hear your stories and put them all together. And I may do a video of just reading from certain experiences if that's something that you guys would like to see. I will leave my email down below in my description. And yeah, send me your stories. Bad, good, funny. I'm all for it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will catch you on the next one. See ya.